As someone who moved from Kenya to Canada, I can say I had a very high expectation of Canada. I'm not saying that those expectations have not been met. I mean, to be honest, infrastructure, like medical system, I mean, you always want your people around, but again, I've met some of the nicest people that I could ever wish for. How the school system here is structured is sort of very beneficial to even immigrants. Like there is always the going above and beyond to make sure that you are accommodated in whatever way. So yeah, to be honest, things have matched up to a certain extent, not like all the way up, but I'm okay. I don't think, to be fair, I would tell you anything that would really stop you from moving to Canada. But an honest review is, if you want to move. It's a good place. Now, this creator here is talking about how moving to the United States has actually changed the way she sees Canada. She's Canadian, and I want to know. Like, I've never been to the United States. I wanted to wait till Donald Trump goes away, but fuck Donald Trump. Fuck that. I'm gonna go to United States soon enough. Now, before we watch this video, I would implore you to subscribe. And why? Because it's good to do so. And comment, because I want to hear from you. So let's hear what this lady has to say about the comparison between United States and Canada.
In the US for almost 2 years now, and one of the most interesting things I've noticed is this cultural difference that's hard to put your finger on at first. And it's that Canadians are nice, but Americans are kind. And those aren't the same thing. And
I don't know. Canadians are nice, yeah. They can be very, very polite. They can apologize to you over something that they should not apologize for, to an extent that you have to tell them, oh, come on, don't worry. But again, I also think that the immigrant culture, because a lot of immigrants have come here, may change that, because some of us where we come from, we're not necessarily nice. Some of us are nice. So yeah, it depends. But I think Canadians can be nice. Except when you're on the road and you're driving and they'll just honk at you for no reason at all. Fuck those people who honk for no reason.
Let me start with Canada, because that's how I grew up and that's what feels normal to me. Canadian culture is built around a specific kind of social contract. Don't inconvenience other people, follow the rules, and maintain pleasant surfaces. It's about minimizing...
That is so true. Except traffic rules, sometimes. Follow the rules. You do not want to inconvenience others as you do not want to be inconvenienced yourself. And try to be nice to people on the surface level as much as you can. And that is why sometimes they say that the racism that exists in Canada is kind of like, it's not out there. It is how it can be hidden in the surface pleasantries, like, hey, how you doing? All the while someone sees you as half human. I mean, you'll see that. If you came here, you'd probably see once in a while you meet people who would want to treat you like that, but they're also nice about it, but you can just tell. Yeah, like, and that is not limited to just white Canadians. Even immigrant Canadians will treat other immigrant Canadians that come from other places like shit. And you just see in their faces. Let's go.
In public spaces, which is arguably nice. In Canada, there's a greater respect for rule following, and this shows up everywhere. Canadians are incredibly rule following in public spaces. If you're at the airport and they call boarding for Zone 3, people in Zone 4 are not getting up. They're waiting their turn. And on public transit, there's a quiet understanding that you keep to yourself, don't take up too much space, and you always apologize if you bump into somebody.
And also, if I'm to add, from what I've seen, being that I'm in Canada, I have used TTC for the better part that I've been of me being here. The general rule is keep to yourself, don't inconvenience others. And as such, you get inside like a TTC bus and it is full of people. And it's quiet. It's just quiet like that. If you don't see, you may see two people conversing which probably people who know each other. Other than that, maybe strangers picking up a very short conversation that dies within the next few minutes. But other than that, it's usually considerably quiet.
Social pleasantries are paramount. That's why saying sorry is practically a reflex for Canadians. I still can't get rid of it, even after living in the States for 2 years. I apologize to everyone when I don't even do things wrong. We do other things, like holding doors, saying thank you for everything, and making small talk with cashiers, but in a very scripted way that's never beyond how are you, and maybe the weather. It's all designed to create this smooth, low-friction environment where everyone is pleasant to each other and nobody is bothering anybody else. But here's the thing. Beyond those pleasantries, like I said, Canadians really keep to themselves. The niceness is about not imposing on others, not about actively helping. It's more of a hands-off approach to public life. So now, the reverse.
That is very true. Canadians will leave you alone. And why will they leave you alone? Because in general, they also want to be left alone. But as someone who talks a lot and wants to engage with people, sometimes it can be a problem because you do not know when you don't even know when to hit on someone. If you don't know when someone is being genuinely nice because they want a conversation, or when someone is actually being nice because on the surface the script says you gotta be nice.
Of that. Let's talk about what I've experienced in the United States, because I feel like it's really different. Public spaces in America are arguably higher friction. Americans are less concerned with following the rules if they don't think those rules apply to them or don't make sense. There's this sense of, I'm going to do what works for me, rather than I need to follow the system so that everybody else has a smooth experience. It's more individualistic, direct, and sometimes more abrasive. Americans also don't have the same culture of constant social pleasantries.
Yeah. You remember there's like, good morning, my neighbors, and someone's like, shut the fuck up. I've never been to America, but the Americans that I have interacted with kind of, they don't do something if they don't have to. And sometimes when people do certain stuff that to them are like, why are you wasting your time doing that? So honestly, I think this is a very good observation of that. But again, I have never been to America. My experience with Americans is very limited. Probably I would rely on this to actually know how Americans behave.
Interactions can be more blunt. People are more likely to just do their thing without worrying as much about whether they're inconveniencing you. But, and this is the interesting part, and the part a lot of people don't think exists, if you actually ask an American for help, or they see a situation where they can be helpful, they'll often go above and beyond that of a Canadian. Americans will offer to take a photo when they see you trying to take a selfie with your family. They'll give you detailed directions when you ask, and sometimes walk you partway there. If you're struggling with something, they'll stop what they're doing and actively help you.
I've asked for directions in Canada. So we approached this guy who was obviously gay, and that was not a problem here. But then the first thing that guy did, he had one of these, like, I don't know, these flip phones, but the touch screen. I don't know that type. I'm not really. I've had my iPhone for I don't know how many years now. I've never changed it. Like even the next one, that if this one works, I don't have to change it. And that guy, the first thing he did was take a step back and like shoved his phone in his like jacket pocket. And when we asked for direction, he gave us first a wrong direction too. It was so haphazard, we couldn't even seek clarification. It was clearly someone who wanted to get the fuck out of there. And then we walked down, and then we met a woman, probably 60s. This woman was like, "Oh, honey, you are going in the wrong direction." And it's like someone told her, no. You will need to cross. And then, is it your first time here? I was like, yeah. How are you liking it? I said it was a very nice conversation. That yeah. But again, I think it depends on who you meet. But Americans tend to be painted at people who the sense of individualism is so entrenched in them that that no one would perceive them as taking their time to actually lend a hand on anything ever. This lady is trying to tell us that we are wrong.
lots of chivalry. When someone needs help, you step up and you don't do it halfway. It's a different social contract. The expectation isn't don't bother anyone. The expectation is be direct, do your thing, but when someone needs help, you help them for real. So what's each system optimized for? Like I said, the Canadian approach creates really smooth public spaces. There's low day-to-day friction. Everyone follows the same rules and maintains that pleasant surface so you can move around the world knowing roughly what to expect from strangers. It's very comfortable and predictable. But the downside of that is that it can feel distant and almost robotic. The niceness is often surface level.
Yeah, and you can tell it's surface level sometimes. You can tell that this is someone who's just being nice because they feel they have to. Because again, if you're so chatty, if you talk a lot and you try to move that conversation, you see the discomfort.
And the American approach, like I said, creates higher day-to-day friction, but deeper substantive helpfulness. You might deal with someone being more direct or abrasive in a normal interaction, but when you actually need something, people show up. The downside is that public spaces definitely feel more chaotic. Everyone's there for themselves, and that rule breaking that comes with individualism means there's a lot less predictability in public spaces. Neither system is better. Canadians value collective adherence to social norms and minimal imposition. That's important.
Let me just say that's nicely put. That's a summary of Canada in a single sentence, from what I've seen. As for America, I don't know. Let's hear what she has to say.
Americans value individual agency and substantive helpfulness when it matters. So as a Canadian living in the US, I had to recalibrate. I had to learn that it's more than okay to be direct and that people aren't going to be offended if I'm not constantly apologizing or maintaining that pleasant Canadian surface, even if I still can't help but say sorry when I walk past someone in the grocery aisle. I've also learned to just ask for help more often instead of trying to figure it out on my own, because I know that if I ask, people will actually help. There are definitely some days that I do miss that lower friction public space culture, though. The sense that everyone's following the same rules and not trying to bother each other. It is still much more respectful, and there's something...
To be honest, I think if you ask me, I would want sort of a hybrid. Everyone you kind of follow rules that make sense. You give each other space. You try to not inconvenience other people, but also can we just be a little bit abrasive, open, forward? Can we entertain small talk that is not scripted? Can we go out of the normal, hey, how's the weather bullshit? That's what she's saying. And I agree with her. Now, if you've watched up till the end, why can't we just do the thing that we all know you should be doing right now and hit that subscribe button? And other than that, comment and like and help this channel grow.